Before we dive into today's show, I want to ask this question as we get ready for the summer. What is the best summer beer out there? What is your favorite one? Let me know down below in the comment section. Personally, after just a free beer, I like a nice Blue Moon, right? Toss some orange in there. It's always good. But let me know what yours is down below to start today's show. What's going on, Browns fans? Welcome into the Cleveland Browns Report by Chat Sports. I'm your host, Matthew Peterson. Hope you guys are all having a wonderful Memorial Day weekend as we are going to serve up some possible trade targets after June 1st. So June 1st is an important date in the NFL schedule because that's when a lot of contracts have some money be put into deposit into bank accounts and players can be moved around a lot easier. Cap hits go down and whatnot. So June 1st is an important day. So here are 5 players that the Browns could be trading for after June 1st. But first, let's address this. The Browns have very little ammunition right now. All right, they don't have a ton to offer in a trade. Andrew Berry gave up a lot for Deshaun Watson. Well worth it, no doubt, but he doesn't have a ton to offer up in a trade this go around. So here are some possible June post June 1st trades with a little bit of like a, this would be super fun, but not very realistic possibly. So first guy up is Terry McLaurin. Maybe the reason why you clicked on today's video. One, when has Washington ever been a good franchise? Not since they had the Hogs and they were good in the 90s. Since then, they have been dumb and stupid. So I wouldn't be shocked if they traded McLaurin, especially after they drafted Jahan Dotson. Maybe they feel like, oh, now that we got Dotson, we can try to get a pick for McLaurin because we don't want to pay him for some reason. But that's dumb to me. You have a good player. You should play him, right? Even when they had a bad season, like they were fine in 2020, but in 2021 when they were bad, like really bad, he was still a 1,000-yard receiver, despite having no real like starting level-esque type of quarterback. No offense what was the Washington starting quarterback's name last year? Taylor Heineke, that was it. I can't believe I blanked on that. And 5 touchdowns to go along with it. All right, we keep it in the wide receiver family for my second post-6-1 trade target, Jalen Reagor. This has been something Eagles fans have just wanted to get over with, out of the way, because that was a draft bust, right? That did not work out, especially when you took him right before Justin Jefferson. You compare their 2 careers, and McLaurin came into the league in 2019, whereas Reagor came in 2020, but I mean, they couldn't be more far apart, all right? Especially for McLaurin being a 3rd-round pick and Reagor being a 1st-round guy. Now, Jalen Reagor would be very cheap compared to McLaurin, all right? Scary Terry would probably cost you a 2nd, maybe a 3rd. So Reagor, on the other hand, I bet Philadelphia will give you a coupon to a cheesesteak spot in Philly and just ask for like a 7th and a bag of footballs just to move on from this guy. But here's the question I want to ask first. Do you want the Browns to make more trades? Y for yes or N for no? Let me know what you think here, right? Trading's fun. There's no doubt about it. But are you like, you know what? Let's actually hold on to some picks and stop selling all of our future assets to get players right now. While you're down there in the comment section, check out the Rumble link. If you want to get more Browns coverage, make sure you do so at rumble.com/Browns Report. It's an awesome way to get uncensored content thanks to our friends at Rumble. And a really cool feature about Rumble is you can close out of the Rumble app and the audio from the video will still play. So if you're busy, if you want to shoot a text, whatever it may be, you can have my wonderful voice going on in the background while you're doing other stuff on your phone. 2 more trade targets after June 1st. Another twosome right there. I'm going Daron Payne, and LJ Collier, 2 defensive tackles, because look at the first 4 names right there. McLaurin, Reagor, Payne, and Collier. Wide receiver, defensive tackle, all positions of need for the Browns right now. Not huge positions of need, but Payne, that nose tackle for Washington, a former 1st-round pick who is kind of holding out right now. And I say kind of, well, he definitely is. He walked off the practice field on May 24th. He is looking to get a contract extension. I think Washington is happy with paying Jonathan Allen and not having to invest into 2 top defensive tackles. The Commanders could save a nice bill, right? $8.5 million if traded. Last year, Payne was a lot like a lot of other players on the Washington defense that regressed after an awesome 2020 campaign. 4.5 sacks, 15 QB hits. We're talking a lot about Akeem Hicks and Ndamukong Suh, two older guys. Payne would be an investment in the future. So, different type of defensive tackle right there. As for L.J. Collier, who's a little less established in the NFL, but had a good 2020 season where he played all 16 games last year for Seattle. Collier just played in 10 games and didn't really get on the stat sheet at all. There's really not a lot to show you except for a bunch of donuts on the screen. That's why he's a lot cheaper, though. $1.9 million for L.J. Collier. Listen, here's what I was going to say about the defensive tackle position. I've said it before, but if you've missed it and you're tuning in for the first time, Andrew Berry is not very invested in that position as a whole, right? We've seen him skimp out on it. He saved money by cutting Sheldon Richardson last year. He waited till round 4 to draft a defensive tackle this year. He traded back from round 2 when he could have gotten some other bigger names right there. We have seen a pattern here of positions that Berry values higher than others. Defensive tackle is low on the totem pole. It's not very high. I don't envision him giving up a bunch to try and get one of these guys. Now, if one of these players can be gotten for cheap, even Berry, who doesn't value that position all that high, will go, all right, if all it costs is a 6th-rounder, I got to do it. But it's not going to cost a 6th-rounder. Now, I will add this, though. Monitor these names. I just mentioned those 4 guys for an in-season trade, because once Cleveland has a better sense of how they're looking in 2022, right, if they get off to an undefeated start and they're looking around the North and some teams are stumbling and some teams are having injury issues, maybe Berry goes, you know what, let's be the Rams. Let's trade a bunch of picks mid-season to get proven talent to win a Super Bowl this year. That would be the one caveat I would add to this equation of a trade happening this offseason when Cleveland doesn't have a ton of assets to offer. Now, if you are looking for nonstop Browns coverage, or if you just want to get, in on some trade action, sub and turn those notifications on. Because if a trade happens, we're going to be getting a video out to you guys. My producer, Marshall Green, and I hopping in the studio, and we'll be getting you guys the content you need. But if we're not in the office, no worries. Even myself on vacation this weekend, we will be getting content out to you. So make sure you subscribe and get those noties on. Final trade after June 1st is not a target. It's a name I don't want to talk about, but I've heard enough rumblings out there. I think it'd be malpractice not to. It is Kareem Hunt, our very own running back. So let's address this idea of Hunt being traded after June 1st because, like I said, that is a popular date in the NFL when contracts become partially guaranteed and money can be moved around a lot easier. Now, I'm putting me down in the comment section because I don't want to trade Hunt. I'm going to explain why, and I think majority of the people are on the same page here. But we're not going to shame the other people that aren't. We're just going to try to lure you onto our team. But type me if you don't want to trade Kareem Hunt. Here is a bit of a devil's advocate, all right? Kind of like building up why this would even happen. Could Andrew Berry just think, you know what? We drafted Jerome Ford in the 5th round. We have Nick Chubb and Dearness Johnson. We can go those 3 guys plus Demetric Felton, and I could save just over $6 million by trading Hunt. Listen, Andrew Berry, you know this, but I don't think I'm speaking to you here. I'm speaking to other people. Now is not the time to sell, right? You just got a bunch of awesome firepower. This roster is one of the best rosters in the entire National Football League. You have a ton of talent. You're also getting a quarterback in Deshaun Watson who likes to run things out of shotgun. You know what's a good running back to pair with a shotgun? This is like when you go to a restaurant and they're like, what wine pairs well with the steak? You know what pairs well with Deshaun Watson and shotgun? Kareem Hunt does. The only way I could see Hunt being traded is if someone blows Andrew Berry out of the water with an offer, and Andrew Berry looks at the draft picks he has for 2023, and he notices, well, after trading for Deshaun Watson, we don't have a first, we have a second, we have a comp third, so it's going to be later in round 3. Altogether, we have 8 picks. If I could get a second or a third rounder for Kareem Hunt, I think I'd have to entertain that idea. That's the only way I would ever be okay with Hunt being traded. If Hunt goes for a 4th, we riot. We get our pitchforks and we march to Berea because that is way too low of an offer for Kareem Hunt for a team that I think is ready to win right now. So if some team wants to say like the Miami Dolphins, even though they have signed like 5 running backs this offseason, the Saints, okay, yeah, who AK-47, he's been in AK-41 is in some trouble there in New Orleans. So maybe that would make some sense for them, but listen, don't do it. Do not trade Kareem Hunt for anything less than like a second, maybe a third rounder. Make sure to hit that big red button and subscribe. That way you stay in the know for all things related for your Cleveland Browns. All right, hope you all have a wonderful Memorial Day weekend. Producer Marshall's laughing in my ear, so we're going to sign off here. I'll catch up with you later with more Browns news and rumors.